Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the Faceless Creators Toolkit, from zero to pro. Look, if you're a focused learner gearing up to build a highly successful faceless channel, you probably already know exactly how overwhelming day one can feel, right? You log online, you see these massive creators in their multi-million-dollar studios, and you instantly think, man, I've got to drain my savings account just to compete. Well, you're in the exact right place today because we're going to completely shatter that illusion. We are stripping away the noise, ignoring the distractions, and looking at the actual highly accessible toolkit you need to get started, like right now.
Okay, let's jump straight into Section 1, the Great Gear Myth.
Okay, let's dive into this. This idea right here, it is the single biggest misconception holding aspiring digital creators back from ever hitting publish. We are constantly sold this incredibly intimidating idea that you need thousands and thousands of dollars in gear before you can even think about uploading your first piece of content. People just assume they need Hollywood-level cinema cameras, professional soundproof studio microphones, and these crazy top-tier multicolored lighting rigs just to get their foot in the door. It creates this massive psychological wall. But the actual reality? You can start for literally $0. The barrier to entry is not a mountain of cash. It's simply your willingness to begin. You absolutely do not need to spend thousands to create engaging, high-quality, and highly profitable faceless content. No way.
Which brings us right to Section 2, the free starter stack.
So if we aren't spending thousands of dollars, what exactly are we using to build a channel? $0. Go ahead and breathe a collective sigh of relief. Seriously, this isn't some clever marketing gimmick. It is a proven, highly effective starting line. I really want to emphasize this heavily because the tech industry moves so incredibly fast. The free tools available to us right now, today, are actually vastly superior to the wildly expensive professional-grade software and hardware from just 10 years ago. It's crazy. Highly profitable, monetized channels are regularly built starting at exactly this $0 price point. It is absolutely entirely possible to bootstrap your way to success without a single upfront cost.
Let's break down exactly what's inside this $0 stack because it's remarkably simple and honestly incredibly powerful. First up, a laptop, or even just a decent smartphone for editing. The computing power sitting in your pocket right now is staggering. A modern smartphone can slice up 4K video faster than most desktop computers could a decade ago. Second, a free video editor. Listen, we are no longer living in the dark ages where free software meant dealing with massive, ugly watermarks slapped across your video. Today, there are robust, industry-standard options that are entirely free to download and use with zero restrictions. Third, free stock footage and music sites. The internet is absolutely packed with incredible, high-resolution, royalty-free media libraries. You can pull cinematic drone shots, historical archives, and studio-quality background tracks without paying a single cent. And fourth, a free or low-cost AI voice tool. If you aren't narrating the script yourself, modern AI voice generation is basically indistinguishable from real human inflection now, and so many of them offer generous free tiers to get you off the ground. So the crucial takeaway here is that these four foundational tools are brilliant, simple, and genuinely all you need to start creating today.
Now let's move to Section 3, when to upgrade, and see how this builds.
Because look, eventually you will naturally outgrow that free stack. But the golden rule of thumb here is that you shouldn't even look at your credit card until you're a few months in and actually producing videos consistently. Once you hit that milestone, these specific upgrades stop being just expenses and actually become investments that pay for themselves by saving you massive amounts of precious time. Number 1, a paid video editor. Exporting a video for 3 hours on free, poorly optimized software? Yeah, that completely kills your creative momentum. A paid editor cuts that down to minutes. Number 2, a higher quality AI voice subscription. Upgrading here gives you that massive leap in emotional realism that keeps viewer retention sky high. Number 3, a dedicated, simple thumbnail design tool to aggressively boost your click-through rates. And number 4, cloud storage. This one becomes absolutely essential to avoid that terrifying disk space full warning right in the middle of a huge project.
To put all of this into perspective, let's just walk through this chronological roadmap. Step 1 is where everyone should begin. Start with the $0 stack. Just master the fundamentals without any financial pressure hanging over your head. Step 2 is consistency. Those first workflow upgrades we just talked about, that happens right here. And finally, Step 3 is scaling, which involves premium tools and maybe even building a team. Think about the difference in outcomes for a second. Imagine Creator A, right? They drop $3,000 on day 1 for a massive computer and fancy software. By month 2, the financial anxiety is crushing them. Their videos aren't even perfect yet, and they quit entirely. Now imagine Creator B. They start for $0, learn the ropes completely stress-free, and only use their very first $100 ad revenue check to finally buy a premium video editor. That is the vital detail. True scaling, like paying for premium stock subscriptions or hiring a video editor, only ever happens once your channel is generating real revenue.
The channel literally pays for its own growth.
All right, this brings us to Section 4, the biggest beginner trap.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that there is a critical mistake that absolutely derails far too many new creators before they even get off the ground. Spending the first month buying tools instead of just publishing videos. I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring at some $400 microphone in our digital shopping cart, convincing ourselves it's a necessary investment. We convince ourselves that we're quote-unquote working on the channel by relentlessly comparing software interfaces, watching endless gear reviews, and analyzing camera specs. But let's be totally honest with ourselves here. That isn't content creation. That is literally just shopping. It's a very dangerous, albeit fun, form of procrastination disguised as productivity. And you know what? It usually ends with a massive wave of anxiety when the credit card bill arrives for a bunch of gear that is just gathering dust on a desk.
Gear doesn't grow a channel. Consistent, decent videos do. I really want you to let that sink in for a moment. The recommendation algorithm does not scan your video to check your audio bit rates. It genuinely doesn't care if you rendered your file on a $5,000 custom PC or a clunky 6-year-old laptop. It doesn't care if your graphics were made in some expensive software. The algorithm cares about exactly one thing: human behavior. Did a real person click your video, and did they actually stay to watch it? That's it. The only thing that builds an audience is hitting publish over and over again with decent, thoughtful content.
And that leads us directly to the absolute golden rule of this entire framework. Publish first, upgrade later. Start with that totally free stack we mapped out earlier. Make it your sole mission to just get videos out into the world. You should only ever upgrade your tools when you can definitively point to exactly what is slowing your workflow down. Let's say free rendering takes too long and literally disrupts your sleep schedule. Okay, then buy the software. If you run out of hard drive space and literally cannot save your timeline, well then buy the cloud storage. Let your actual physical pain points dictate your purchases, not your imagination. The relief you will feel by completely removing the financial pressure from your creative process is absolutely immense.
So once you have your toolkit perfectly sorted, you've avoided the beginner procrastination traps, and you're happily publishing consistently without spending a single dime up front, a brand new challenge arises. What actually keeps them watching? You can have all the brilliantly optimized tools in the entire world, but if your audience clicks away after 5 seconds, the gear simply doesn't matter. The real secret? It lies in your script, the exact structure needed to hold a viewer's attention from the very first second to the very last. So how exactly do you craft a narrative that makes viewers entirely unable to look away? Well, that is a fascinating question, and one that leaves a really exciting open loop for our next deep dive. Keep that in mind as you start building your $0 stack today.